What's happening, people? Welcome back to my channel. For those that's been following my tutorials, I just want to say thanks again for everybody that has been following. It means a lot. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. This has been requested to me on my Facebook page and on my messenger since I've started doing the tutorials. I don't claim to know everything about FL Studio because I'm still learning myself. This game, you're constantly learning, I suppose. I've been doing it for about 12, 13 years now, so I do know my way around. I might not know all the technical terms for everything and all that, but I'll show you what I know step by step so you can make your own tunes from scratch. Right, let's get to it then. When you open FL Studio, this is what you'll see from the off. Just a blank page with a little channel rack here. It will load up some default samples for you. Now, there's two ways you can use these samples straight from the off. You can either use these blocks here, or you can wipe that off and you can use the piano roll here, up here where it's highlighting. Click that. Now, this will pop up. So you can put it on the beat like that, just the same. Well, I might as well put it up further. So this is the one I like to use, but you can use any. It doesn't really matter. Up here, you've got where you change your BPM. So if you keep hold the left click and move it up or down, it'll change to whatever BPM you want to record at. I like to record at 148 because I make UK bounce, and I think 148, that's the sweet spot for UK bounce when it's recorded, or 150, whatever. But I like to do 148 personally. You've got this just closes the window. You've got this button here which brings up your channel rack. That's where you load your samples to, which I'll show you in a minute. This is your mixer, where you put all your effects, and then where you assign, you can make channel buses or whatever. You put every instrument you put into this. See, like these have already been allocated by default. So number one is that's where the kick's gone to. So you could put your EQs or whatever onto that. And then number two is your clap, 3 hi-hat, 4 your snare. You get the picture anyway. This one here is to look where all your samples are and stuff like that. I've got a sample folder already loaded. All you have to do to load that is you could easily just make a folder or wherever you've saved your samples to, and then drag it over to this in your project, and it'll come up all your files like I've got there. So I've got all different files here. So say something out of Vengeance, instead of using the default kick drum, these are called bass drums on this pack. You can just flick through just by clicking the left mouse, or you could use your down arrow on your keyboard, and it goes quicker. So let's just pick one dead quick. Let's just pick this one. Keep hold the left click and then drag it over to where the kick was, and then that'll replace what was already on there. There's your kick drum loaded now. Now, like I said before, you can either load it on every 4, so you want 1, 2, 3, 4, and then say you wanted to use your clap. Let's just pick another clap. Let's just use that. That sounds like a 909 clap. Now you want to, if you listen to dance music, you'll listen and you'll hear it go boom, ch, boom, ch. So you want to do it on every second and fourth beat. So let's hear that. Boom, ch, boom, ch. Now, if you wanted to, obviously you are going to want to use an open hi-hat for this type of music. I like that one out of the Vengeance pack. I do suggest, by the way, if you are making bounce music, the Vengeance packs are the best ones to get started on. Let's load this one in. This is your open hi-hat. So if you listen to it in your head, boots, 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 boots. That's what it does. So you want to count it 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's your next one. So you want it in the middle. Somewhere like that. So let's hear that. Now, I don't like using this, so if you're like me and you don't like using that one, go back to your piano roll, which is the one highlighted here. Select your kick, for instance. C5 is what it's recorded at. So, see in here, yeah, let me just close these a minute. You've got squares inside of this. If you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like before, but it's inside the piano roll now. So I'll do this square thing is so you can loop it, just to sample it. This is for pattern mode. So when you want to listen to it in your piano, then you put it on pattern mode. If you want to listen to the whole song, like on there, which I'll show you in a minute, then that's what you'll do. But for now, we're on pattern mode. So if you want to hear that, pattern mode, press play. Then that's pattern 1. So then if you scroll down, then it's pattern 2. Then you want to put your clap in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, clap. 1, 2, 3, 4, kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, clap. So let's hear that. Then scroll down to pattern 3 again by keeping hold of left click and moving up. Then select your open hi-hat. So you want it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that'll create this. So click on this to view your playlist again. Now on the left here is your patterns, what you've just created. So right click to rename. Let's just call it kick, your first one. Right click again, clap. Right click again, hi-hat. And then all you do there is drag it over to your playlist like that. And you can just, with this paintbrush tool here, what I've highlighted here, you can just drag it over. So what it's in dance music, it's all in 4s, which I'll go through in a minute. So drag this one over again, paint it, drag this one over, paint that, put it back on song mode now to listen to what you've just put on. Now let's hear what that sounds like. So that's how you get started. So we're on the mixer now. So double click where that is. Now this is where you want to rename as well, whatever you've got you've assigned it to. So number 2 was clap. Number 3 was hi-hat. You don't have to name, but it is. I do advise you to name it. So on the kick, you can solo it just by right clicking on there, and it'll just solo the kick. So if you press play now, it'll just solo the kick. If you want to add an effect into it, go to this bit over here, slot 1 or any of them slots, left click. Say you wanted to put an EQ on it. I'm just going to assume it's just a stock plugins you want to use. This is my favorite one, Parametric EQ2. This is just like how I'd use the FabFilter Pro Q3. It's the same sort of thing. Not as good, but you get the picture. Now, with this one here, you could right click and then go to type and then high pass, which will bring it down here. So on Pro, yeah, I'll load Pro Q3 into this just so you can see the difference of these two here. So I'll do the same with this one. Hold on. Right. With the Pro Q, you get to see the waveform, but with the Parametric EQ, you can just see like a shadow. You'll see now. Oh, they've actually updated that since I last used that. You can see it now. Oh, that's good. I didn't know that because I don't use that. I use Pro Q3. So that's even better then. So you don't even you don't need to buy that then if you just want to use the standard stock plugins. If you have issues as well later on in your project, go to options, audio settings, and you can either put it to, I've got it on Fruity Studio ASIO at the minute because I'm recording and it works better with OBS. But usually I'd have it on my what's it called, audio interface driver, because it just works better. And on here you can choose, the lower your buffer length, the harder it is for your computer to work. So the high, I've got it on the highest now just because, I mean, my computer's alright, but like further on in late projects when I've got loads of different plugins loaded up, it doesn't work as good. So I just keep it on that now. It doesn't really matter. It's just how you hear it as well. So it doesn't affect the recording quality or anything like that. So that's a good tip for you there. Another good tip for you is keep these on. The mixing buffer switch, the triple buffer. Make sure these three are all highlighted as well. Smart disable, multi-threaded generator processing and multi-threaded mixer processing. It's just to help your CPU perform, I think. Resampling quality, the highest you've got on down there, the more CPU it's going to take up, so it's going to work even harder. So I just keep it on 16 or 24, whatever. Another good tip for you, go to project, and if your computer's still struggling with your beats, you can move that 96 to 24, press OK, and it just, you can't zoom in as much, but it really does help your CPU. So I'll just put it back up to that for now. So there's some good little tips for you straight off the bat there. Right, so let's just, I'll show you where, if you want to make bounce music, I'll show you where to put the donk or whatever. I'll just go to my sample pack I'm working on. Let's just use that. Close that. To assign this to a track, just keep hold the left click and move it to wherever you want it. So 5's free. So let's rename this to donk or whatever. Now, keep hold the left click, move it to pattern 4 up here. Go back to the piano roll. Now don't forget, every 4, you want it in between where you put the hi-hat. So here. Now, sorry, and then you can just drag it over. To loop it, go to this select button here. It's like a square or something like that. Left click, drag it over. And then when you play it now, it'll just loop. So let's hear it. it sounds really bad because I haven't put any processor or nothing on it, so but it does sound terrible. So say this is how you're starting out and you want to make it sound better. You want to start getting your levels better now. So this one here, you want to have your kick drum in mono, so it's straight down the middle. So move that to the merged, 100% merged there. If you look at the top left here, where in the corner there, it'll say 100% merged. That means it's 100% in mono now, straight down the middle. That's what you want all your kicks doing. So let's right click the pattern and hear that, and I'll show you how loud it is on the mixer. This is where your levels are on this master. Well, you can look here, but it'll show you exactly how many decibels your sample is. So watch. Now I like to have mine on -6. That was a bit too low. So if I wanted to boost it up a bit, you could use a limiter, or what you could do, there's another little trick. With this EQ here, you could just lift it up, the volume. So let's hear it. Now that's about -6 dB. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Right. So you want to cut it off on these about 20. Let's go 30 on this because you can't really get a good one on here. Right. And you could cut the high ends off a little bit. Why isn't that low pass filter? That's it. So let's hear it. Just cut the very high ends off because it does help you. So if you wanted to shorten that kick, which I feel like it has to be done, you can double click the sample and it'll bring this back up. And this here, the out button, if you just keep hold the left click and move up and down, this will shorten it for you. So let's hear it by clicking on pattern again and hearing what you've just made. So let's hear it. Oh, but yeah, I'm on the donk there. Right, go back to your kick, sorry, and let's hear it. That sounds good to me. It's just cutting that tail off a little bit. So that's loud enough. That's short enough. Now let's go back to your bass because, oh sorry, I've not even renamed that. Not with it today. I'm sorry about that. Right, let's see how loud you want to get this. You want to get it just under 6, just like that. So let's put an EQ on it again. Parametric EQ 2. You want to cut this off a bit as well. So high pass. Cut it to about 50 Hz, I'd say. And then you could just bring it up in level by using this again. So let's hear that again with the kick. Put that back on. Let's hear it. Now that's just brought it up a little bit. Now because that donk sounds a bit empty, you could put something behind it. Like another little bass. Something like that. Put it on the next channel. Call this sub. Now, what you want to do with things like this is you don't want, because samples, if you play it, if you lower it down, it'll go longer. So to stop that from happening, keep hold of control on your keyboard and move this up slightly, just so it's like that, and that'll loop it. And it'll, when you go back on your piano roll, yeah, I'll show you what I mean now. If you play that, it's looped to exactly the same size as what I've put on there. Listen. Now, if I was to take that off, it'll be longer. Listen. It's conflicting with each other, and that's not what you want. So you want it so it's looping to exactly the same size as what you've put on there. That's better. So let's put another EQ on that. High pass it. 40. And then you want to get a lot of the top ends off that. Let's hear it. Round about 358, something like that. So let's rename this sub. Put it in the pattern. Drag it over. Let's hear that together. Sounds better already. What you could do with that though is shorten it a bit, like I did before with the kick. Let's hear it again. You want it like the same length as your dongle or whatever you're using. So if you hear that all together, mind you, this is going to be too loud. So what you could do as well, if you just to get it lower down in volume quicker, if you go back to your channel rack here by clicking this, the highlighted one here, this is your volume. So you could just bring it down like that if you wanted. So let's hear it. Now that sounds long as well, so you want to shorten that again. See, it sounds better already. So let's hear what we got. Right, so that's pretty much the basics of getting started. I do suggest you buy some VST plugins for your sounds instead of using samples, because they're not that good. I mean, I do use samples as well, but I like to use VSTs. So if you go to Splice, you can hire to buy this serum here, which is my favourite plugin. You can rent to buy it. It's only £8 or something like that a month. But I do suggest you get it, because you can learn to create your own sounds, and you can buy sound banks as well. That's already got the sounds on it. I mean, it does come with some anyway. Like all these leads here comes with the VST, so you might not need to buy any, but it does. It's good. Flick through. There's loads of different stuff on there. Yeah, so to do that, you just press the plus sign here, and it'll bring up all these, what you've got installed. And then you press serum or whatever. FL keys. This is a good piano to get started on. You can this is how I make chords with this as well. So say for instance this here. Let's close that. See, stretch it, and you could make, that's a A minor chord. Oh, sorry, E. We're not on E. That's an A minor chord. You could do G as well. So you can do your piano progression with that. It's a good one to get started on. If you want to save it, this is what you do. You go to File, Save, and then wherever you want to save it to, let's say the desktop, what I do, just put channel, tutorial, or whatever, and then press save, and make sure this is on FLP, like these are, and then it'll save, and then you just double click to load it back up. Or wherever you saved it and you want to go back to your project, that's where it is. If you want to save it to an MP3, you can click File, Export, MP3, choose your destination. It'll come up here, MP3, save. To get the best quality, you want it at the highest point here. That'll give you the maximum quality. Press start. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show you. Make sure it's on song mode. You don't need it to be highlighted. Just keep it on song mode. Export. MP3. Save where you want to save it. Make sure that's at the maximum. And then press start. And then once it's finished, you go back to the folder you've saved it to. And that's where it is. Same thing with the WAV. Export. Wave file. Whatever, make sure it's on the highest. Now that's a bit more better quality. It's a bit more disk space it goes, but it's better quality. What else can I show you? I mean that'll get you going. That'll get you started. If you want to learn how to make stuff in key and stuff like that, just go to my other videos. I just wanted to show you how to get going from scratch as a very beginner. I think that's all I can show you so far then, for a beginner. So, get started, show me what you've done, message me on Facebook, my link will be in the description, and show me what you've done. I do want to listen to everything what you've done. I will take the time and listen to you. I'll answer any questions. On my next video, I'll do some more in-depth stock plugins and stuff like that. So, if you've liked what I've done, like and subscribe please, and I'll see you on my next video. Thanks a lot.